Hello everyone. Today we are going to review the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise, the October build, and the whole video session is going to be about 10 minutes. You can take a look at the version at the end at the bottom of the login screen. So 5.10 means 2014 and October. After you log in, if you are using the multi-tenant service provider edition, the first page you will be looking at is the tenant manager. So all the tenants on the system will be listed out in the table here, and then you can also see your cluster ID on the top of the screen, and that uniquely identify the cluster here. So the terminology cluster here refers to multiple worker nodes connected together, and that as if they were one. And servicing users, and each worker node can support like 5,000 users. So if you have 300,000 users, you may need to have 50 to 60 worker nodes working together as a cluster. The second page is the cluster admin if you want to define more users to help you. The third page is the cluster branding, and the branding on the web portal was done by the branding settings here. You can define the product name, the icons used on the web portal, the icons used for Windows client. So if you're using the full branding, you don't need to define the Windows and the Mac here. You can also customize the email. So there's a lot of emails sent out to the users, so you want to customize the email template. You can also define your own SMTP email service. So these will be the email account used to send the notifications and welcome emails and all those communication emails to the users. For the server farm, the first page is the worker node. So most of the time you have only one worker node. If you don't have above 5,000 users, and the worker nodes, most of the time you don't need worker nodes, because web nodes and worker nodes are, most of the time you don't need web nodes, because the worker nodes and the web nodes can coexist on the same logical server. There's also cluster info that you can take a look at the performance, the users, the server agents and users, active users, different size, different parts of the information for the cluster here. You can also see reports about the file uploaded reports and the different kind of file types and file categories and storage statistics. There's also a cluster setting. The most important one is the client auto upgrade. You just need to click one button, the publish button, and then you can have the Windows client and the server agent publish out to the existing running client agents. There's also cluster setting. You can define, further customize the cluster, such as the web browser session timeout, the monitor email, and different other settings you can customize. There's also a language tab. The Gladinet Cloud Enterprise ships with German, Italian, French, and English. But let's say if you want to support Dutch, then you could do self-service translation. You can just click on the Dutch language and then select the pages you want to translate, and then you can translate it to the language yourself. And the TBD strings here means you need to get those strings translated. TBD means to be done. So that's the language support. So now we covered all the cluster administration functionalities, and then now we are going to go in to the tenant administrator and the tenant administration. So this tenant refers to one single company, and the whole thing is like multi-tenant ready. So now from the cluster level, we are now going down to the tenant level or the company level. In the dashboard, you can see the same set of reports. There's also a collaboration tab or the section. You can see the team folders. So team folders, you can define a folder and then you can specify a number of users and define their permissions, such as the read, write owner. You can also define the subfolder level permissions. So most of the time you can define team folder permission without using the permissions at the top root folder. But let's say within the subfolders, if you want to further define the permissions, you can do so. There's also shared objects, which refers to the shared files or shared folders, so you can share files and folders. And there's also storage manager, so that's one single place you can manage all your different kind of cloud storage, OpenStack for the private, or Amazon for Amazon S3 for the public. If you have storage in a more traditional form, such as Windows File Server Share, you can use that as well. So it's like one single place for you to manage all your storage and then turn them into a sync and share usage paradigm over the internet or over the browser or over the iPhone, Android, and things like that. There's also user manager. You can manage your Active Directory users if you have Active Directory connected, or your guest users. You can also manage roles to define who can access what. So the roles refers more to the administrators. So if you want to define a partial administrator, like an admin who can only view certain set of files, you can use the user manager, the role manager, to define the roles and assign them to the users. There's also group policies, and the group policy, the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise has a very many settings you can configure and customize the behavior of your cluster or your well, it's not for the cluster but more for the tenant, for the business. And there's also a administrator, so you can define more administrators at the business level, at the tenant level. There's also an advanced section that you could define. For example, you can connect the Active Directories. So each tenant here can connect to its own Active Directory, and then tenant level device, and a tenant level audit trace, and the tenant level file change log, and then the client device managers. So this basically covers the tenant level administration. So you can see, you can change the Active Directory, you can define the users, you can define the collaboration folders, you can manage all your cloud storage in one single place. So after that, we will be going down to the files and folders view. So if you are a normal user, you don't get access to the management console, but you can still get access to the files and folders, and you can also download the clients, the Windows desktop client, the Mac client, or the file server agent, or the iOS, Android devices from one single place. And if you don't like the default theme, you can change the color. There's 12 predefined colors on the system here you can use. So you can switch to the one that you like. And then you can also manipulate the files and folders by right-click on them, or click on the toolbar menu, or you can download and preview, and different actions you can take towards the files. There's also a checkbox, so if you want to multi-select files, you can check them both, and then let's say if you want to delete them, you can delete both of them. So this basically covers the Gladinet Cloud Enterprise. So as a summary, first we take a look at the cluster administration, and then we take a look at the tenant administration, and last we take a look at the files and folders view in a web browser for a normal user. Thank you very much.